All right, guys, chapter 5 of the Charter of the United Nations. Chapter 5 is called the Security Council. Composition begins with Article 23:1. Chapter 5, the Security Council. Composition, Article 23. Number 1. The Security Council shall consist of 11 members of the United Nations. So 11 members of the United Nations. Remember, the General Assembly consists of all the members of the United Nations. Each member shall have not more than 5 representatives. So not more than 5 representatives for all members of the UN, but not more than 5. And then for the Security Council shall consist of 11 members of the United Nations. The Republic of China, France, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, that's the USSR, that's the Soviet Union. So the Security Council shall consist of 11 members of the United Nations. You got the Republic of China, France, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, which is the Soviet Union, the USSR, the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and the United States of America shall be permanent members of the Security Council. Permanent members of the Security Council? The General Assembly shall elect 6 other members of the United Nations to be non-permanent members of the Security Council. So non-permanent members. Due regard being specially paid in the first instance to the contribution of members of the United Nations to the maintenance of international peace and security and to the other purposes of the organization, and also to equitable geographical distribution. Non-permanent members. Number 2 of Article 23 of Chapter 5. The non-permanent members of the Security Council shall be elected for a term of 2 years. In the first election of the non-permanent members, however, 3 shall be chosen for a term of 1 year. A retiring member shall not be eligible for immediate re-election. Number 3, each member of the Security Council shall have 1 representative. I wonder why. This is interesting, huh? So, functions and powers of the Security Council, Article 24. In order to ensure prompt and effective action by the United Nations, its members confer on the Security Council primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security, and agree that in carrying out its duties under this responsibility, the Security Council acts on their behalf. Number 2, in discharging these duties, the Security Council shall act in accordance with the purposes and principles of the United Nations. The specific powers granted to the Security Council for the discharge of these duties are laid down in chapters 6, 7, 8, and 9. No, 6, 7, 8, and 12. So Article 24:3 of Chapter 5, the Security Council shall submit annual and, when necessary, special reports to the General Assembly for its consideration. Article 25 of Chapter 5, the members of the United Nations agree to accept and carry out the decisions of the Security Council in accordance with the present charter. So, power. Security Council seems to be more powerful, right? It's more esoteric. It's not everybody involved. It's like a smaller group within the bigger group. Remember, there's permanent members, and the permanent members are the, so I guess, Soviet. I don't know how it must have changed because Soviet Union's not around anymore, supposedly. Article 26 of Chapter 5, the Security Council. In order to promote the establishment and maintenance of international peace and security, in order to promote the establishment and maintenance of the international peace and security with the least diversion for armaments of the world's human and economic resources, in order to promote the establishment and maintenance of international peace and security with the least diversion for armaments of the world's human and economic resources, the Security Council, I find that interesting, the least diversion for armaments of the world's human and economic resources, the Security Council shall be responsible for formulating, with the assistance of the Military Staff Committee referred to in Article 47, plans to be submitted to the members of the United Nations for the establishment of a system for the regulation of armaments. Establish a system for the regulation of armaments. Gun control. Also like nuclear weapons, etc. So this one's called voting. Chapter 5 of the Security Council, voting, Article 27. So number 1, each member of the Security Council shall have one vote. One vote. For the General Assembly and Security Council, one vote. Number 2 of Article 27, Chapter 5, decisions of the Security Council on procedural matters shall be made by an affirmative vote of 7 members. Affirmative vote of 7 members. Number 3, Article 27, Chapter 5, Number 3, decisions of the Security Council on all other matters shall be made by an affirmative vote of 7 members, including the concurring votes of the permanent members, provided that in decisions under Chapter 6 and under Paragraph 3 of Article 52, a party to a dispute shall abstain from voting. Procedure, Article 28 of Chapter 5, called Procedure, Article 28. Number 1, the Security Council shall be so organized as to be able to function continuously. Security Council shall be able, the Security Council shall be so organized as to be able to function continuously. Each member of the Security Council shall, for this purpose, be represented at all times at the seat of the organization. Number 2 of Article 28, the Security Council shall hold periodic meetings at which each of its members may, if it so desires, be represented by a member of the government or by some other specially designated representative. Number 3 of Article 28, Chapter 5, the Security Council may hold meetings at such places other than the seat of the organization as in its judgment will best facilitate its work. So it's not like you can meet, if it's that important, you got to meet now, right? The Security Council may hold meetings at such places other than the seat of the organization as in its judgment will best facilitate its work. Article 29 of Chapter 5. The Security Council may establish such subsidiary organs as it deems necessary for the performance of its functions. Subsidiary organs. Article 30 of Chapter 5. The Security Council shall adopt its own rules of procedure, including the method of selecting its president. So own rules, like nah, fuck the democracy way, fuck voting. So Article 31 of Chapter 5. Any member of the United Nations which is not a member of the Security Council may participate without vote in the discussion of any question brought before the Security Council whenever the latter considers that the interests of that member are especially affected. Article 32 of Chapter 5. Any member of the United Nations which is not a member of the Security Council, or any state which is not a member of the United Nations, if it is a party to a dispute under consideration by the Security Council, shall be invited to participate without vote in the discussion relating to the dispute. The Security Council shall lay down such conditions as it deems just for the participation of a state which is not a member of the United Nations. As it deems just. As the Security Council seems just, right? Article 32. Anyway, that's the end of Chapter 5, Security Council. Peace.